Youngpreneurs Podcast, episode number 135 with your host, Victor A. Penny. What's up, world? Another day, another podcast, and today I've got a good friend of mine and absolute entrepreneurial gun, Jake Kay-Lawson, on the show, and he is founder and director of Next Gen Visuals, and he helps people be awesome with videos, tell their story, grow their businesses, grow their YouTube channels, and so much more. But he's got an awesome backstory on how he has been in the hustle game for a long time, and that has been through a variety of different businesses, and chasing the university dream, and back to the business, and so on and so forth. But I won't bore you with the details and ruin how he can actually tell it brilliantly. And this was a super cool episode because what we did, we actually had it on Facebook Live at the same time. We recorded it, obviously, because he is the video master, and we also obviously recorded this audio for your listening pleasure. So it was a super fun episode to do. It was great being live with somebody rather than sitting in separate places in the world, and I hope that energy pays off and you really enjoy this show. So if you do, make sure you subscribe on iTunes or whatever you listen to your podcasts on, and if you get the chance, jump over to iTunes, leave us a rating and review. I love seeing what you're all writing about the show and how much benefit you are getting from it. If you have any feedback, shoot me a message, victor@passiveincomeyoung.com. And we have all of our show notes, bonuses, everything we talked about at our website, passiveincomeyoung.com/EP135. And you can also pick up a 4-video series that I put together for absolutely free for anyone looking to start their first online business. And you can do that for absolutely $0 to get started. So it's a super powerful training. I've used it myself to generate tens of thousands of dollars, and I hope that you do too. So grab a pen and paper, sit back, relax. If you want to jump over and actually see the video, you can check it out at the Youngpreneurs Podcast page on Facebook. But in the meantime, guys, keep living life on your own terms. You're listening to the Youngpreneurs Podcast, the #1 resource online for under 35-year-olds, where we chat twice a week to the most inspiring entrepreneurs in the world. We have it all. If you're looking for inspiration, guidance, or actionable tips to help you transition from that job into a business, or if you're ready to take that business to a whole new level, then this is the place to be. Get ready to live life on your own terms. What's happening, Youngpreneurs? Welcome to another episode of the Youngpreneurs Podcast. This time we're coming to you live, fresh and uncut, because we've got Facebook Live going on over here. We have got cameras recording us, and we've even got the usual mic. So if you're listening to this recording, make sure you jump over to the Youngpreneurs Podcast and you can see us in action and our two handsome faces, because I've got my awesome guest on, a good friend of mine, Jake Kay-Lawson, and he is founder of Next Gen Visuals, which is an awesome company which we'll delve into obviously as the show goes on. So what's happening, man?
Not much. Actually, there's a lot happening. I shouldn't say not much. There's a lot happening towards the end of the Christmas period. I was sort of, in a bit of a down period there. It looked like everyone was sort of getting ready for the Christmas period, and then it's just exploded in the last couple of weeks. And we're pretty much booked out until February now, and looking to kick off 2017 really well. But always staying busy, obviously trying to post as much content as we can.
So with you, before we, I guess, delve into Next Gen Visuals and the rest of that, you're an entrepreneur now, if you like that word, or if you don't, you're a business owner. What was growing up like for you? Were you always destined, or was this always in your DNA?
I don't think so. I think I definitely enjoyed the idea of selling stuff rather than working for it, working that time for money sort of thing. But I really... This was a big sort of deflection of where I was heading originally, because my dad, when I was growing up, had his own liquor wholesale company, and it was one of the things that I just dreaded doing. And I thought to myself, why would you ever, have your own business? Because it seemed to me from my experience, I used to go back there and I would have to sweep the floors of the warehouse and do all that sort of stuff. And so in my mind, it was like, well, business is crap, I don't rate it. I don't want to be a part of it. because it was just one of those things that I sort of had to do, you know. But looking back on it, I definitely had a huge influence on me to be sort of entrepreneurial or, you know, go into the business world, because obviously, so my dad was in that frame of mind, but my stepdad as well, he's very entrepreneurial. Like, I didn't even know what he did until I was like 17, 18. You know, he's just one of those people who was doing a million things, you know. Oh, well, maybe, but yeah, he was just one of those guys who was always, you know, like hustling, doing a million things at once, and he was always go, 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 go. So from that perspective, I was definitely sort of aimed down the business path by him, because yeah, he just seemed to be doing so well, but wasn't working a normal job, which to me was really cool, you know. So that sort of, yeah, definitely, he gave me a lot of guidance down that path and helped me get started with my first couple of businesses. You know, I was like classic teenager on eBay trying to sell, you know, everything that I had at home. You know, when I was 14, 15, I used to sell all my old PlayStation games and swap them for new ones and stuff like that. And that was how I got a bit of a taste for online retail, you know, and online selling, because I thought to myself, man, this is easy as.
Yeah.
So, you know, when I got started, that was how I suppose got into that, and I got a bit of a taste for, yeah, that online selling. And it was really like I don't want to say like an adrenaline rush, but there we go, yeah. It was because, you know, I wasn't putting in a lot of effort. I was just putting stuff out there online and people were buying, and I was like, man, surely I can make something out of this. So that's what I did. I ended up doing a couple of different eBay courses and launching that and sort of diving into all these different types of products. And eventually I had about 3 eBay stores going at once, selling different things. You know, I was selling those animal onesie suits, which I ended up turning into my first business, which was Onesie Town. And I did that for 2 years, took it from a little eBay store, and then eventually we had suppliers in Melbourne and Japan, and guys ringing me from the US wanting me to sell their product over here in Australia. So that was kind of my launch into business, and yeah, it was quite easy for me, you know, at that point. So I suppose I got a bit of a false advertising for how business was, you know, if you know what I mean.
And following that, like you talked about doing courses, was that an easy decision for you? Because I mean, nowadays there's so many courses out there on so many different things. Everyone's a freaking expert. Everyone's a master at it. What's your journey been in the learning side of things? Have you been more trial and error? Have you been more learn from other people, implement, or learn from other people and not implement, which a lot of people do as well?
Yeah, I definitely experienced that a lot. So when I first got started, as I said, like I wasn't in the frame of mind for going down the business path. Like I wanted to do physiotherapy and exercise science when I left school, which I actually did get into, and I went to uni for 6 months, and I was starting to do that. And then when I left, I was like, after going to uni, I realized studying, I could not do it. You know, I could not study for another 4 years. And so when I left, I sort of looked at it, and then yes, did go and do these eBay courses. And it was more of a, as you say, yes, trial and error. I also had, it was kind of one of those things. I'm the type of person to make decisions like that. Like I won't really stop and think about stuff a lot. So if something is presented to me, I'll jump at it. Which I did for a lot. And I think it was definitely good in a way, because I took in so much information rather than just, you know, I think a lot of teenagers, or, you know, kids who are leaving high school just do what their parents do, or they just do what their friends do, rather than
society pushes
them into doing, rather than taking a step back and really just opening up to everything, which I think was really great about me. And obviously I also had a lot of support from my family, which, you know, not a lot of people would have had as much as I did, I don't think. Which allowed me to do all these courses and do all this extra stuff, you know, which was quite expensive for some of them. And and definitely learning by not implementing, and, you know, thinking that you wanted to do it and then not actually doing it. But it was more, I suppose, just information overload for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I look at it, and I was actually having this thought the other day. It was like, because I went to university, I did the physio thing and whatnot, and you probably made a good decision on the angle that you've gone down. But it's crazy how, let's say you took up 30k, 30k at uni, and over a 4-year period with no income generation. If you spent 20 to 30K on, you bought 20 different $1,000 courses and one $10,000 high level training and implemented the shit out of all of that. Like, let's say $1,000 training, you get 30 hours worth of training in it. If you smash that out in 3 days, implement, and then, even if you don't make anything out of it and you're working a part-time job, 3 months down the track, you should probably be making some sort of traction with it. And if not, and you go, hey, this doesn't really suit me, jump onto the next thing. And you keep ticking along that. Because, I mean, I know I've kind of been at this, I've been at the podcast side of things for, I don't know, like 18 months, say. And it's like the amount of stuff that I've learnt and the stuff that I haven't implemented, I'm like, wow, if I'd have done that. And the stuff that I have, I'm like, man, talk to me 4 years after I start, and it's going to be a completely different kettle of fish, a completely different game changer. And it's, I saw a post on a group on Facebook the other day, and it was a guy who was like, hey, I'm 17, I'm at school. My teacher said, I should just leave now and just get a trade because, all my other mates are going off to uni. And, 5 months later, he's got like a Shopify or an eBay store or something, and he just turned over his first $1,000 week. And I'm like, killing it. And he's just like, I'm going to take this to my teacher and say, what up? And everyone's like, don't do that, because
do it. But like that's the thing, is the being able to go and do all of these extra things all the time. Like, it's multiple streams of income, man. So I would not be where I am today. Like, for the last 3 years, I've always had 2 businesses going. I've had another online store which has been going since I was 18 from the start. A couple have been and gone. But at one point I was running 3 online stores at the same time. And that's the thing. Even though you're not making heaps of money from them, all of them put together, you're doing quite well for yourself. And honestly, my online stores that I've had have saved me so much, oftentimes. And because if you do have a down period in your business, then you've got something to fall back on. Whereas a lot of people who go and get a trade, if they break their back, that's it. What else are you going to have? So I think the main thing about doing all the additional courses and things like that, I definitely wasted a lot of money by, not implementing on some of the things, but you're also finding out what you don't want to do, which I think is the most important, because I would rather pay $500 for a short course and figure out I don't want to do physio from a short course, rather than spending $50,000 doing a degree and then wasting 4 years of my life, because a lot of people who I know who have been through uni, like all my mates are graduating around about now, and majority of them who either have brothers or sisters who have graduated. I know one of my friends, for example, his sister didn't get a job for 2 years after doing a nutrition degree. Which is just insane if you think about it, the amount of time and money and effort that you put into it. And for me, it was just, I actually did go back to uni for a little bit and then got into business, and that was when I discovered creative advertising and all that sort of stuff, which led me to where I am now. What did you go back to? Originally I went back to do business, because I was like, business is probably, I eventually, was doing the online stores, and I was like, I should probably learn more about business. But when I did it, I was sitting in the classes and I was like, I cannot give you any more of my money, because everything you're teaching me, I have trumped this myself with what I'm doing in my own business, and it just doesn't make sense for me it was like archaic, the stuff that they were teaching us, and I think when I finally made the decision to leave was when we did a lecture on social media, and they were talking about how Facebook is up and coming, and this is in like 2014, so I was just like, nah, I cannot do this. You guys are warped, with their thinking is just back in the stage, because obviously, with university, you got to jump through all the hoops to get, courses done and all that sort of stuff. So for me, I know for myself, I can't work for people, I can work for my clients, but for my own business, what I mean? It's just within me to have that drive and do it for myself. So once I figured that out, that I was never going to go and get a job, then it was an easy decision for me to leave. And I think but going through all of that led me to that point, to figuring out, that this is who I really was and what I wanted to do with that. Yeah.
So next gen visuals, how did it come about, and what do you do? What problem do you solve for people?
Yeah, so we give business owners, influencers, entrepreneurs, we give them the opportunity to never run out of content, basically. And what it starts off with is video, and YouTube is a big part of what we do. So we create core pieces of content. So for example, we're filming this today. This is your core content. You create podcasts for people. So what we do then is we do everything from helping you plan it, film it, produce it, and then market it on YouTube and distribute. So basically we're a all-in-one service for content. And then once it's been created, we've now started breaking that down. So moving it into photos and getting pictures for Instagram, that sort of stuff. And then also taking your videos into blogs. If there's a quote from something you've said today, we'll put it on a picture and have that up there. So
pretty quotable.
Yeah, that's right. So we are really just an endless flow of content for our clients, and a couple of guys who have been doing well with us on YouTube. We're making sure you're always there, being consistent. It's about consistency for us, because it's the person who is able to be front of mind the most often with the most valuable content who will win. Yeah.
And I mean, it's the same thing with any type of content. Like if you're looking at 4 different, I think Glenn Carson said this. If you're looking at 4 different accountants and they all graduated the same year, they all went to work for Big 4 companies, they all went and then have branched out on their own. If one of them's got a YouTube channel, one of them has, the same one has a podcast that he's repurposed from the YouTube channel or whatever, they've got an active social media, and they've got their own book about helping accountants or whatever it is. It's a pretty easy choice from a social influence, from a psyche point of view, like who you're going to go with. You're not going to go, I'm going to go and meet them all. You're going to go, well, this person was in the media and they've got a book. They must, you automatically put them on a higher perceived value. And,
100%.
But you've got to get in front of these people as often as you can with all these different things, because not everyone's going to see this podcast. Not everyone, people might see the live stream, people might see it pop up on YouTube, people might read about it somewhere, and the more you're in front of people, the better. And it sounds like
100%. And so on top of that, not only do we make sure that people are, you're getting in front of the right people, but it's also about building that trust factor. So for me, video is the only thing that can replicate sitting down and having a conversation with someone. Like, it's all well and good to have a book there saying, this is a best-selling book, or, and there's photos of us doing all this. I can go and hire 50 people to sit in a room and look amazed like I'm Tony Robbins running that and take photos. But video is the only thing that can really truly show who you are as a person. And so if your goal is to, get speaking gigs or to sell events and do all that sort of stuff, video is really your number one option, and we're starting to see that now with a lot of our clients. Like, you'll see it every day. You scroll down Facebook. My entire Facebook feed is videos. Like, even though most of them are memes, but like,
it's videos or photos at worst. And
exactly.
Then you get some person who goes, I wonder how many people will see this and reshare this. And you're like, nobody, because Facebook algorithm works on interaction. And if you're not putting out a video or a photo or a piece of audio or something that people engage with, rather than like, you have to be a really awesome copywriter and not be doing it every single day. And if you put out video, photo, and then you write something, people are going to be engaged because it's a pattern interrupter. If you're writing something every single day, your reach is going to get less and less, because I know if I write, I put a big post the other day, and I hadn't done it. And I remember the first video that I put up that was like a proper kind of entrepreneurial video when I first launched the Podcast Institute. It got like 3,500 views and like 9 shares, because I hadn't done that before. It was a pattern interruption. People were like, wow, Victor's talking. And with videos, I agree. Like, we argue this on the podcast and the video, but they're a way of people getting in touch with your personality.
100%.
Whereas people who are on an Instagram picture and they write this big blurb, you're like, really? Like, a lot of people are starting to see through that.
100%. For me too, it's about helping people and giving them value without asking for anything in return. So as a business, creating a YouTube channel that you can provide, helpful tips and little things like that, while it doesn't, and this is what a lot of business owners need to start changing their mindset around is getting instant ROI on the marketing that they do. They need to start changing that, because if you invest in content and really valuable content, like creating a YouTube channel that eventually builds up thousands and thousands of subscribers is like digital real estate. You're parking your spot there because you're going to be there forever, with this content there. And when you optimize it and you're answering questions, so back to the accountant, for example, if you're someone who is a small business owner, if you're an accountant, your target is small business owners, and you do 100 videos on all little tips and tricks that are going to answer questions that your clients always have, they're going to be searching for that stuff on YouTube because it's the second biggest search engine behind Google.
Yeah.
Google owns it, so they link in perfectly with each other. If you're searching for that question and then all your videos come up, what do you think straight away? You think, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about. He's exactly the person I need to talk to. Going back there again, you've got 4 different people. Yeah. If this guy's already answered 5 of your questions before you've even met him, you trust him, and exactly. You're ready to go.
And it also goes back to when we were talking about courses. The stuff that you realize you don't want to do isn't necessarily not stuff that you're not going to do in your business.
Yes.
And so for everyone out there who's listening or watching or whatever, go and check out some of Jake's videos. I've shared them. I'll put them in the show notes of his you put one on a few out so far in your new channel of like how to put captions in, how to find royalty free music, all of that kind of stuff, which is absolutely awesome, but I don't want to do it.
Exactly.
And so it's showing, okay, this person knows how to do it. Now I trust them. They can do what I want them to do. So there's a lot of things that I've learned in business over time that I like. And I think will be effective, but man, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's where you outsource, or you find people who that's their area of awesome, or their where their strengths lie. And so it's, if people take the free content and they go and do their own videos and they go and get their own YouTube channels, cool.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't your target client anyway. If you didn't give them free content, they weren't going to use it.
But the thing is too, if they go out and they use my methods to do it, they're going to eventually get to a point where they need someone like me to manage all their content anyway. So you're future-proofing yourself.
Yeah. Immediate ROI.
Exactly. It's that long-term investment that you're setting yourself up for the future. Like, yes, you want to, I talk to people about, transactional content, which is your Facebook advertising and your, quick sales videos and things with calls to action saying, hey, buy this now.
Yep.
While, yes, if you chuck $500 on that ad, it's going to do well and you'll probably get a few sales now, but that'll be gone tomorrow. But if you create, 10 videos that are, it's the evergreen content, people are always looking for that. It's always going to be sending you new leads all the time.
Yeah.
That's going to set you up for long-term growth and, set you up for that. But yeah, like you're exactly right. It's that changing that transactional stuff that people need to sort of get out of their mindset. But at the same time, both of them are very important. Yes, you need to have free content, but you also need to make sure that you're advertising yourself, but also not making it too hectic. Half of the reason why I started this business originally was because I thought small business owners were really getting a bad deal, because advertisers out there are charging people upwards of 10 grand for a 30-second ad that no one's going to see. This is a big thing that I talk to people about all the time when they look at TVC advertising versus YouTube advertising, is that the AFL Grand Final is the most watched thing on Australian TV. It gets about 3 million viewers in that time. But then you got to think about, okay, well, how many of those 3 million actually, watching the ads, engage with the ads? How many of them are having, drinks at the pub, with their mates? And as soon as an ad comes on,
how many of them are in Queensland?
They pull their phone out. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So
pull your phone out.
Whereas a 12-year-old kid is getting 1 million views on every single video that he releases every day. And they're actually looking for his content. They love him. They tune in all the time.
Yep.
That's power, So if you're, for people who want to, become that influencer, you really do need to invest in yourself in terms of getting yourself known and really owning your space, So, and YouTube, amazingly, I think 9% of businesses are using it. So, if you're someone who's a business owner in an industry, if you want to start taking over your space on YouTube, it is free. It's like free parking, man. All you got to do is start putting stuff on there and you'll instantly take over because there's very minimal competition at all.
And in regards to if some people are thinking about starting their own YouTube channels, what's 2 or 3 tips that you would give them to get the ball rolling and get started?
Yeah, cool. So we did a video on this the other day, which we're about to post actually, which is pretty cool. The biggest thing is consistency. So ask yourself, am I going to be able to consistently upload minimum once per week? And if you're going to do that, that doesn't mean that you have to be creating new content every single week. But what you do have to do is you have to schedule it out, you have to plan it out, and have a film day. So this is what we do with our clients. We have 1 film day per month, and we'll film multiple batches of content that is rolled out on a weekly basis. So you have to be posting minimum of once per week. And if you can't do that, then try saving it up, maybe make a huge list of like 20 videos or something like that, and do 1 film day maybe every 3 months or something like that. But just make sure that you've got yourself enough content. The other thing with consistency too is the videos don't have to be perfect. Like people appreciate seeing the behind the scenes stuff. As long as it's valuable, give value to people. Another one that I would say would be just make sure that your content is searchable. So really invest and look into seeing, okay, well, what are my clients actually looking for? Start off with your FAQs. If you're a business owner, people will ring you with questions every time, and you probably get those 3 or 4 questions that someone asks you on a weekly basis. Yeah. If you make a video about that, you never have to answer that question again because it's already there. They've already seen it, so. Or
you just send it to them.
Yeah, exactly. If they go, hey, can I do this? I did it last night, and one of my guys was having an issue posting his captions on Facebook. So I sent him the video over and done. It's all ready to go without me spending any time at all, wasting that. So you're building your internal efficiency as well. Yep. Another thing that I would say when you're starting out is make sure you optimize your channel correctly and don't post anything unless you have fully filled out your descriptions, fully done your tags, and really take the time to learn how to do that properly, because this is the number one mistake people make is they'll post something out there. They won't have a custom thumbnail done so it looks like crap. They won't have the correct titles done so people aren't really finding them. They won't have tagged it. And using tags that are really broad too, like if you're doing one on how to do a podcast, if you use the word podcast as a tag, that is so broad and no one is ever going to find it. So Tim
Ferriss is going to eat it up, and Pat Flynn, and Joe Rogan, or whatever, Joe Rogan.
But yeah, if you're able to figure out, okay, well, what are the specific keywords that people are searching for really highly but don't have much competition, those are the ones that you want to go after. So you can do the same content, but just name it slightly differently and you'll actually be found. Like, as you said, like we launched a new channel for ourselves about maybe like 4 weeks ago or something like that. We've already got 3 videos that are number 1 ranked for like 6 different keywords because we've only gone after the ones that we know have the low competition. Now, if you don't know how to do this, here's a massive tip for anyone watching it out there. Look up an app called TubeBuddy, right? This thing, what it does is it links in with your YouTube account. So it's like a Chrome extension that you can get. Yep. It's free to get kicked off. There are paid versions of it. This thing has saved us so much time. And basically what it does is it searches based on YouTube searches and Google searches, and it will actually give you a rank. If you type in a search term or a key phrase, so say you've got an idea for a video, how to make a podcast, right? Type that into TubeBuddy and it will give you a ranking out of 100 on how good that term is to use. So it'll actually tell you what the search volume is and what the competition level is, so based on the results. And having something like that, like to check your content before you release it changes the game massively. Like when we discovered, because we used to do this manually, when we first started, because I didn't know they had something like this. And when I found it, I was just like, my world has changed, since we've been using it, our efficiency has gone through the roof. Our clients, view count and subscriber count has gone through the roof. Like it's just a phenomenal thing. And if you're looking to launch a YouTube channel, do not start unless you have picked up TubeBuddy or something similar to it.
Yeah. Cool. So diving into the business into the future, where do you see the business evolving to? What do you see the future of it?
So I've got really big plans for the next year or two. What we really want to do, our goal is to be the content creating hub first of all Brisbane, but then Australia. And to do that, we want to launch our own studios here. One of the biggest difficulties we have, and for our clients have as well, is that the space that they film in might not be reflective of how they see their own company, you know. And a big issue that I suppose Brisbane and I think most places would have is that there's a lot of photo studios with white walls that you can hire out, but there's no spaces that are, you know, perfect for what you're looking for. Yeah. So our goal over the next 6 months to 12 months is to open Brisbane's first creative hub for business, you know, so it's not going to be designed for any random to come in and take photos or whatever. It's specifically for business owners to grow their company by creating video content and stuff like that as well. So that's where we're looking to go. On top of that, we're looking to expand our reach, I suppose, globally by helping people, you know, manage their YouTube content and grow it using our optimization methods. We know for a fact that they work. So we're looking to help people grow in that sense as well. And the next, the first thing that we're going to be doing next in 2017 is running workshops. So teaching business owners how to create content, how to make it creative and engaging, and then also how to launch themselves onto YouTube as a platform. So we've got a lot planned for 2017, and it all seems to be rolling out quite well so far. So yeah, that's where we're looking.
So what's your biggest strength?
For myself?
Yeah, for personally, and then for the business, like what, like, you know, 10 years time, you know, 2 years time, 6 months time.
Yeah.
If ideal world, what is the thing that you bring to the company that is its biggest strength?
I believe that I am not afraid to take risks with stuff, which I suppose has been a big thing. Like, I'm just not afraid to try stuff, you know, and that's worked out really well for us. We've done a lot of work with a lot of different businesses, and some of them haven't paid off, but some of them have. And I think it's not having that scarcity mindset, you know, like I have an abundance mindset. Like, you know, I know for a fact that we are going to be taking businesses to the top with their content, and we're about producing as much as you can, you know, putting it all out. And for me, to not be living in that scarcity, you know, money's tight, money scraping mindset, you know, like you give it out and it will come back to you, you know. And so I'm very generous with, you know, with what we do financially, but also just working with people. But I think on top of that, that's more from a business perspective. For myself, I would say my ability to have conversations with people has helped us massively, you know. So going to different events and just being able to not be afraid of having a conversation with someone, like I think that's the new number one fear in the world, is actually talking to people one-on-one. And if you're a business owner and you are not out there every day having conversations on the regular, you are losing for yourself, man. You know, like, so like, how did I meet you? I met you at an event, coming up and saying, hey, what's going on? Yeah. Like, just out of the blue. I've met so many of my clients just walking up to them because no one else is talking to people in the room. Like, you've got to be that person to bring the conversation, you know, to push outside your comfort zone. Exactly. Yeah.
No one, I've talked about this in previous episodes. No one loves networking to people that they don't know for the first time. But as soon as you met them for the first time, it's not the first time anymore. Yeah. And like, there's always, if you go to an event by yourself and you don't know anyone else there's somebody else in your exact same situation. So go and find that person, because they're going, oh, maybe I'll just go out and sit in the foyer and just play on my phone. And like, you know, playing on your phone could lose you $10,000.
Exactly. And also understand
a connection. And
understand your time for money. Like, you know, how much do you think you're worth? How much do you think your time's worth? Like, if you think that you're worth $400 an hour, you're losing $400 an hour for every minute that, you know, or every hour that you haven't made those connections. Like, so, you know, if you're a business owner, think about, like, what am I doing right now? Is it getting me closer to where I want to be, or am I just stalling my success?
And I want to preface this, because I know Jake understands it, but don't go looking for business when you're networking. Just make a connection and meet people, because there's going to don't be. I've been to an event where a dude had to leave during the speaker. I hadn't even talked to the guy, and he just handed me his card, and it was like some green cleaning products or something. He just like handed it out to about 5 people around, and I was like, "Go away, man! Like,
Well, it's the same. It's the same mindset we take with our content, right? So go into every single conversation, one with a plan. What do you want to get out of it? And I don't mean like, oh, I'm here to like get this guy's number and make a sale.
Yeah.
What do you want to give them? You know, what impression do you want to leave on them? So, you know, when you go up and talk to someone, like I always have a goal in the back of my mind. My number one thing is to find out, you know, first of all, find out who they are and what they want to do with their life, you know, because if you know where someone's going and what their goals are and what they want to achieve, and it's not just like, oh, what do you need from me? You know, what do you need in business? But what do you as a person really want to do? Because once you know that, then you can start framing your questions around, oh, well, you know, how's that going for you? And rather than just straight up saying to people, oh, what do you want? You know, you can sort of talk to them in a normal way, and then eventually people will tell you what they want, or you'll be able to figure it out. You know, and I've gotten so much business just having a 10-minute conversation with someone, you know, and eventually at the end of it, not mentioning anything about what I do, but 100% talking about them the whole time.
Yep.
You know. So I reckon that's probably the biggest thing, is just talking about getting them to do most of the talking.
People love talking about themselves, so let them.
Exactly.
What's the saying in sales? He who talks last loses.
Yeah.
It's like,
exactly.
Let people
straight up. Yeah, straight up.
Let people tell you how they're here because they want to get more video content out to the world and blah blah blah. And then when they ask you, what do? I help people get more video content out to the world.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
And also, you know, don't be afraid to tell people your best content. You know, like that's another big thing about what we do, is that we are not afraid. I'm happy for you to come with me right now and watch us go through our entire process. You know, because one, people are never going to do it. If they do it, they're not going to do it as well as I am, you know. But also, there's been heaps of, events and things that I've been to where you go, like I've shown people how things work and just deliver value, straight up value, you know, because that's what they remember, you know. They don't remember the guy who hands out green business cards. Well, you do, but for the wrong reasons.
So just to round up, book or resource, so you're not allowed to give out a video, book or resource. We're going to link some of your videos in at passiveincomeyoung.com, but book or resource that you'd recommend to other young entrepreneurs getting started.
Yes. Okay. So start with Why is a big one by Simon Sinek. I think that's one that a lot of people do. Same with the E-Myth. The E-Myth Revisited, when I read that for the first time early on this year, and it was a huge click in my mind, just talking about the differences between, people who are working inside their business and not really doing stuff the right way, but also just talking about scalability. That is probably the biggest one that I would say. Another one would be, how to win friends and influence people. That's a huge one because, again, I go back to having conversations with people. The Dale Carnegie guys, what they do, having conversations with everyone is just the biggest thing. And like we were saying before, if you're someone who is worried about having a conversation with someone, that book and the steps that Dale Carnegie teaches in just communication is, I think, invaluable. So there's three for other than one, but I would start off with those for sure.
We'll link all of that at passiveincomeyoung.com. Final question, 2 years time, what are you doing? Where are you doing it?
I am going to be on stage traveling around Australia and, multiple other countries, teaching people how to create video content and how to grow their business through content. So my goal is to be known as the content creator in Australia. So Next Gen Visuals is going to be the place to go. As I said, once we get our own space, we're going to be the content hub of Brisbane, then eventually every other major city. And then for me to increase on that, I'm going to be the one leading the charge, up there teaching people how to do it. So kind of like a Gary Vee style sort of thing, but less, I would suppose, more concentrated on, teaching people about the business and that sort of stuff. But he's a big influence on what I do, and our business as well. Like we follow him quite religiously, but it's very much where I see myself. JKL. That's right, JK.
Wicked. the time. It's been cool having this, having the cameras here on the other side of it. And I just want to welcome you to the Youngpreneurs family.
Cheers, bro.
And if people want to check out more, find out more about you, where can they go? What can they do?
So they can go to our YouTube channel. First of all, you type in Next Gen Visuals, NEXTGEN, you'll find us. And same on our website. Head to our Facebook page, Next Gen Visuals. Also, feel free to contact me, Jake Kay-Lawson, on Facebook. I'm more than happy to chat to people on there. But yeah, our Facebook page and our YouTube channel is where you need to go. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're releasing new content every week, as you should be. And feel free to engage with us too. Like if you've got questions in regards to video content, and creating it, breaking down content, all that sort of stuff, leave us a question and ask us, because we do create videos from questions all the time, So I find it a lot more helpful than, typing away a million messages. Ask us a question, we'll answer it. Yeah.
I'll link all of that in the show notes, passiveincomeyoung.com. It's been awesome coming to you all live through Facebook Live, through the video, and obviously through the podcast. So we will see you all next week, and have an awesome time.
Thanks for listening to the Youngpreneurs podcast. This was proudly brought to you by the Podcast Institute, the #1 training resource to take your business from chasing leads to leads chasing you, and from an absolute amateur to a full-blown authority. If you're looking to take your business to the next level, then a podcast is the obvious answer. You can get national and global exposure in a very fast time, and it's just exactly what I've done with this podcast. So if you want to find out more, get a checklist on how you can get started for under $60, and to find out more through a small training video that I've prepared for you all, then please check out passiveincomeyoung.com/podcast training.